Magandang araw. Ako si Code. Welcome back to my channel where I discuss programming challenges. Today we're going to start with some of the math problems on Hackerrank. So this one is about complex numbers, and simply put, a complex numbers has a real portion and also has an imaginary portion. So you have a graph here. Imagine there's a point down here which is the real section, the real portion, because it's on the horizontal x line. And then up here we'll have the y portion, which is the imaginary section. So given the x portion and the y portion, we need to calculate the absolute value, which is r in this case. And then we also need to calculate theta, which is the angle in radians. So the first thing that comes to mind when I look at this is Pythagorean's theorem, because we have a certain amount of values on this side for the x portion and then a certain amount going up. In order to calculate this third side, it's simply the x portion squared plus the y portion squared equals, the c portion squared, or in this case r. So that is pretty easy. And then with theta, there is a little bit more math involved. But let me just show you an example in the code here. So first, well, a complex number is simply we have a real portion and then we have an imaginary portion. But normally it's taken like this. So we'll just take n equals input, and then we could just put an n here. And if we print out the complex, this, by the way, is already included in Python. It's just you pass in an input and then it changes into a complex number. So we'll go ahead and run this. 3 plus 4, oops, 3 plus 4 y, or j, I mean. And look at that, it prints it into the complex format, which is exactly what we typed in. I also do have some code here for a graph. So just like with the other example in Hackerrank, this is the graph. We have the x portion in green, and then we have the y portion in blue. And we need to calculate r, which is the distance from the origin to this red dot here. And then we also need to calculate the angle of this section near the origin. So it's done in two easy ways, at least when it comes to Python. So the first one, as it shows, if you scroll down, there's the phase, which is basically theta, and then this is the using ABS for absolute, which is the r distance. So, and if we pass in this, we have the distance and we have theta, or vice versa. So let's go ahead and go back to our shell here. So of course, normally if we print out a number with ABS, like say -4, I'm going to just comment all this stuff out for now. Actually, that's fine to keep it that way. If we do, we'll just do 3 plus 4j again. If you type in a number that's negative for absolute, it keeps it at 4, because you imagine it doesn't matter if it's 4 in the positive direction or 4 in the negative direction, it's still 4 either way. So if you put in a positive number, it'll say 4. If you put in a -4, it'll still say 4. So that's what absolute does normally. But if we pass in c, which is our complex number, it'll do it a bit differently. So we pass this in, 3 plus 4j. It equals 5 exactly, because remember Pythagorean's theorem from school, if you take 3 squared, you get 9. You take 4 squared, you get 16. You add those together, you get 25, and then the square root of 25 is 5. So that's exactly how we get the absolute value of this complex number. So imagine again, the green portion is 3, the blue portion is 4, and then from the origin to the red dot, that is exactly 5, which is what we have here. And then when it comes to, I can just kind of show you if I were to not use ABS, we'll just do math. I guess I gotta import that first. Import math as math, also import cmath as cm. If we do math dot square root, and then we'll do c dot real, the real portion, which is the 3 squared, and then c dot the imaginary portion squared, and you add those two together, you square root it, you're gonna get 5. So if I were to do this again, they both give you the same. So that's basically what it does under the hood when you pass in a complex number. So now we'll move on to the theta part, or phase. So first I can just show you what answer we get when we do phase. So we can simply do, we'll print, we can do cm.phase as it shows on the Hackerrank page. We just pass in our C equals 4J. And that's 0.927. That's in radians, which is basically the angle in radians. And then if we were to do that normally using math, we would do, I'll just make an actual variable for this. And then math.atan, which is the angle. We take C, the imaginary portion, and we divide that by C of the real portion. So it's basically 4 divided by 3. And we'll go ahead and print that out. And then we will, I guess this is printing it out regularly with the built-in method, and then this is just doing it with pure math. We'll do 3 plus 4j, and we get the exact same number, of course. And then if you want to convert that into radians, or sorry, convert it to degrees from radians, then we just simply print out math.degrees. Plus 4j. That's exactly 53 degrees from the origin to the red dot. An easy way to test that is if you have the numbers about the same, then obviously it's going to be 45 degrees. So 3 plus 3j is exactly 45 degrees from the origin to the red dot. So that's it for the explanation. And now we can just go back to Hackerrank and just type it in like normal. Like I said, this is pretty it's not necessarily about, it's not a complex problem because it's still an easy problem, but it's just kind of explaining complex numbers and polar coordinates and all those kinds of things. In a future video, I will have another video that explains complex numbers in a bit more detail. So first we'll import cmath as cm, and then we can just do our input and our complex number. That's an n. And then we could print the absolute of n, or the absolute of c, which gets our angle. And then we could just simply also print cm.phase to get the angle. Sorry, r is the distance, and which is that third side if you do Pythagorean's theorem, and then this is just the phase, which is the actual angle. We can type in C as well, not callable, just C. Didn't mean to do that. So we'll go ahead and run this, and we got that correct. And if we run that, so look at that, we got all of our tests passed. So that's it for this video. Please like and subscribe for future videos, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos as well. See you next time on Coords. Paalam.